Hi there viewers, this is Glebro Junction, and in today's video I'm going to show you how I build my platforms. Now in the past I've had quite a few people asking me how I build my platforms, and it's quite difficult to actually just explain to people through comments, so I thought I'd do a video on how I actually did my platforms. Now first of all, it certainly isn't the right way, and it's certainly not the correct way of doing it. There are different ways of building platforms. Some people like to use card for the likes of Metcalf card kits. The card kits are okay, but I find that you're lacking the realism with the card kits, and it's hard to when you join the card kits together. It's hard to actually hide the line between the two parts of the platform sections, and also say the realism isn't always there with the card kits, and also when it comes to do the ballasting on the track next to the card platforms, the water and the glue that obviously goes onto the ballast and then seeps into the card kit, and in turn sometimes can ruin the card kits. I've had it before. I used Metcalf kit years ago, and it's sort of warped my platform, so I tend to stay away from that. The next type of platform is ready to run platforms already built from the likes of Hornby or Bachmann. Now they're quite good platforms, but the problem with those is that you're going to need a lot of them if you've got a big station, and they can be very costly, and that is a very big downside for me. I feel that I can build platforms better, make them more realistic than spending out £100 on a load of platforms. So there's always that way, and then there's also you can build them out of wood, which again is a good way of doing it, but again that can also be costly as well, and it's not always that easy to cut the wood up into the section that you need, especially if you've got a curved platform. So my way is probably the easiest and cheapest and quickest way of building platforms. Now what I do first of all is, as you can see, the platform at the back here I have started to build. It's almost done. I've just got a few more layers of paint to do across the top. I've also got the yellow line to go by the platform edge, and I've still got to spray the Pico sides again with the Sleeper Grime colour, because it's all I've got plaster all over my Pico sides. So this platform is almost done. It's just a few more finishing touches, but as you can see, that platform hardly cost me anything at all. And now I'm going to show you how I built them. Okay, but before I actually delve into how I built the platforms, I'm just going to run through a few of the things that I've actually done on the layout so far. Right, the construction over the back is almost done. The actual woodwork is all done. This is going to be my retaining wall that I'm going to build at some point, probably over the next week, and I will be doing a video on how I build my retaining walls. So I'm going to build them from scratch. I've got a real nifty way of doing them that makes it look really realistic, so that will be a video for another time. I have actually built my back seam boards, and obviously this up here is going to be I suppose like a semi-town area, and where I've got this cut out here on this wood is where the section is going to go across for where the station is going to be. And I'm thinking about scratch building a station, plastic card, and then a brick embossed plastic card. I've been to a train station today and taken some pictures of an actual station, so I'm hopefully looking at using that design as my station, and so I'm going to scratch build it to my taste. And so I've started to build this platform. There's a few more bits I've still got to do to it. What I'm going to have is I'm going to have four main lines running through the station. I'm just going to have two platform stations, and then I'm going to have some kind of branch line, but this is going to be for freight only. This is going to be it's going to run by a disused side of the platform. So this side of the platform is going to be disused. I'm going to have a fence say like this here, running across. So it's going to be disused, and it's just going to be for freight only. I'm going to have a lot of I suppose bushes, overgrown grass and everything this side of the platform, loads of junk, life-size junk and stuff like that. What I have also done is I've now tacked down the actual track, and instead of using PCB copper clad boards, I've actually started to use they're brass screws. They're just drilled into the baseboard, and I've actually just put them to the height that's needed for the track to actually be welded onto, or should I say soldered onto, which is what I've done over there. I haven't actually soldered these ones on yet, and I've also done them down the other end. Now I find that using brass screws is so much easier than using copper clad, because they're fixed straight into the board. You haven't got to cut nothing up. All it is just screw them into the right height and put the solder straight on. Now this has come straight from Peco themselves. I spoke to Peco last week and asked them what they would do, and this is what they've instructed me to do. So this is what I've gone and done. So this is how I'm going to be doing all my baseboards, all the track on all my baseboards. And I have now started to add all the droppers, as you can see. Where am I? Yep. I start to add all the droppers to all the track. As you can see, underneath, you can see all the wires. So for each individual part of track, I've now got droppers that will run into a chocolate box, and then that in turn will run straight into a bus wire that I'll run underneath. That's the idea anyway, so I've always got a constant live track, and hopefully I won't have any issues. Okay, so that's what I've done so far on the layout. Now back to the platform building. Okay, so what I do, or what I use, the materials that I use to build my platforms, I actually use plasterboard. Normally you can get them in smaller sheets. I'm not sure what the size is, but what you need is a sheet of 9mm thick plasterboard, as such. If you add two of them together, it will give you the correct height of 18mm, which is the correct height of the platforms. So what I've done in this instance is I'm making my platforms 3 inches wide. You can make them whatever width or whatever length you want, but in this case I'm doing mine at 3 inches. So the reason I use plasterboard is because it's very cheap to buy, it's very easy to cut to any shape that you want. It can be a little bit messy, but it's very, very simple to use, very cheap. It's cost me next to nothing. It's cost me about £5, which is far less than £100 if you was going to buy the ready to run platforms from Hornby or Bachmann. So like I say, I've cut 2 sections, as you can see. Both of them I've laid one on top of the other, and I've measured it from the track where it needs to be from the track. Okay, once you've cut the platforms, the next thing to do is you do get some rough edges. Is to just get a knife, like so, and all you do is you just run it up and down the sides of the plasterboard, and it just smooths off the edges, ready for the Peco sides to be added. And all I then do is I get some PVA glue. I glue each section together and to the baseboard, and then all I do is then just screw this platform or the plasterboard to the baseboard. I use 2 screws either side, and I think it depends on how long the platform is, you just stagger how many screws you're going to have in. So in this case I'll probably end up having something like 12 screws in here to hold it in place. Okay, as you can see, the 2 bits of plasterboard are now glued together and glued to the baseboard. I've yet to add the screws to secure the plaster, but I'm just waiting for the glue to dry a little bit, about half an hour, and then I'll add the screws in, and that will give you an exact height of 18mm. I'm using 18mm because the Peco sides, which are these, you buy them from most model shops, I think these Peco sides give you the most realistic looking platform edges, and I highly recommend them. I suppose it's about a £5 a pack, but it's not that expensive. They do come in like a a yellowy plastic colour. So what I do is I just pre-spray them. I've sprayed these Sleeper Grime. Now this is just one of the old ones off the old ladder. It's not going to be one that I use, but I actually spray it Sleeper Grime, give it 2 or 3 coats, leave it a few minutes in between to dry, and then I just paint the tops white. Now if you just paint them just 1 coat, then you'll have to give them several coats after the actual platform construction is complete. Okay, but the other thing that you need to do as well in this case is on the reverse of these Peco sides, you do get a lot of raised sections, little bumps like this. What I do is I just cut them all off, file them all down. It's a bit of a long, tedious job, but you want to make it as smooth as possible. This one I haven't smoothed down that well, but what the idea is just to smooth it down so it actually fits. As you can see, it will fit butt up to the plasterboard, and it will fit in there really nicely. What I tend to do with these is I just use super glue and then just glue them together, and then just add the next one and the next one. Okay. As you can see, they fit in there quite nicely. Okay, so now the plasterboard is down and the Peco sides have been super glued to the side of the plasterboard, all the way down, both sides, as you can see. And all I'm using to glue it with is this Expo super glue. It dries in between 1 to 3 seconds. I think it's really good super glue, so I use that on the actual Peco side, so they dry instantly. Now, obviously, I've now put the screws in, as you can see, all the way down, just to fix it in place. It's not going to go nowhere. Even the Peco sides, they're all super glued, and they're not going nowhere either. The next job now is, as you can see, I've got all these gaps that run down in between the Peco sides and obviously where the screws are. Right, next job to do to fix that is just to use some filler. So what I do is just get this stuff. All I use is this Wickes all-purpose filler. Very easy to use. It does come quite thick, so I just add a little bit more water to it, so it's a little bit more, so it has just more runny consistency, so it fills in the gaps a lot better. So all you do is you just spread it over the gaps, over where the screws are. Best thing to do is just put the screws in so they're more or less level with the top, so you've only just got to fill in a little gap. So once it's smooth, once it's dried, you just smooth it over with a bit of sandpaper, and then it's obviously ready to go to be painted, just like this. Now I've still got a few more gaps in that to fill in over there with the filler, because it's not great, and I'm not 100% sure on the colour either yet. But I'm using, at the moment, just using stone grey for the tops, and then I'm just painting the edges of the platform sides white, brilliant white, just so it stands out. I think I might use like a lighter concrete colour across the edge here, and then the yellow line, which I'll probably use an airbrush for that. So that's the next job. Get it filled in and then get it painted. For the end pieces, now these are not going to be going here, I'm just using this as an example. These are the Peco end pieces of the platform, as you can see. These are off my old layout. I'm not going to be using these, I'm going to be buying some new ones. You just glue them into place wherever you want them to be, and then all I use is just get a bit of plasterboard, fill up this gap as much as possible, and then I'll just use plaster over the top, smooth it down, and then sand it down after, and then that's all ready for painting. As you can see, it comes out really well. I've still got, like the platform sides, I've got a bit of plastering out on them. I've still got a little bit more airbrushing to do on there yet, and then they'll be ready to go. And then obviously the lights and that have got to be added, and I think personally, even this is my way of doing it, this is a far cheaper, far easier, and a far more realistic way of building your platforms. Very easy, very simple. Can be slightly messy with the plasterboard, but it's cost me next to nothing far cheaper than ready to run stuff from like Hornby and Batman. So this is my way of doing it. While I'm at it, in case any of you are not sure, the track, I've had a few people ask me as well, what gap do I leave between each piece of track? Now what Peco say is you need exactly 2 inches from the centre of one track to the other, so it's exactly 2 inches wide. That's the exact measurement that you need for all their points and that to fit. Otherwise you're going to find yourself probably cutting up loads of bits of flexi track just to make the points and the rest of the track fit. So 2 inches is exactly what you need, and that's exactly what I've got. Okay, what else I'm going to show you while I'm at it. I've just cut the section for the for where the station is going to be going across the platforms, just out of, I think it's 6mm MDF board. Now it's roughly going to go across like that, but what I've got to do is on my next video I'm going to show you how to do the retaining wall out of embossed plastic card. I've got some strips of wood which I'm going to run up and down, and underneath here, I think every maybe 6 inches, I'm going to have a piece of wood run up just as a beam. So I'm not going to have arches, but it's going to be it is going to be some kind of retaining wall, but I'm going to be building beams and then building the plastic card around it. For the cross section, I'm unsure as to what I'm going to use as pillars yet. I'm experimenting with different things. What I've got is bits of wood that I've cut off. Now this is just a rough sketch of what I'm going to do. I've just cut some of the wood, and then all I've used is this spray. It's the Plasticoat Stone Effect spray, so it gives you like a rough concrete texture, which is what I've got here. I can't get into focus. As you can see, it comes up with this like a really rough concrete texture. So I think the beams that I'm going to be using under the cross section will probably have this rough concrete look effect on it. Now these pillows I'm not going to use these pillows. I'm going to be building different ones. I'm going to be building them the same as some prototype pillars that I've seen, that I've taken pictures. I just wanted to see how this stuff would come out. I might be building them probably with a bit of wood and then some plastic card around them, so I'm going to have some kind of effect on them. And I think this spray that's on there is going to look quite good. So that's the idea anyway. So this section of wood, I've now got to add the beams underneath, paint it all up, and then just add all the extra bits on there so it looks like a proper section, like a bridge section. So that's the idea. So that's my next job. So I'll probably be doing a video on how I built this section, and my next video will certainly be on how I built my retaining wall. So until then, thank you very much for watching. If I've missed anything, please let me know. If you have any questions, please leave a comment and I'll do my very best to answer them. So take care. See you now.